Oh, well, it would help if had my microphone on. I'm in dire need of a producer. All right, watch out! Don't. That's not on. That's not. You're not in focus. You're not. I was on here for just shy of an hour last night, and nobody was on. I guess I picked the wrong night for everybody. But hey, you got to paint every chance you get because you may actually pass up a time when people are on and you didn't paint. But regardless, nobody was on, and I still wanted to paint. And what was happening, I was getting distracted by looking up. All right, is anybody there? Anybody there? I just finally said, "Oh fuck it, I'm gonna paint," and I just turned the thing off. I painted all the numbers and stuff on this, all the hand painted all the numbers. Maybe a little bit more. And I was so into it, I walked away from this and I left this. I left. I didn't even. I thought about it in the back of my mind. I left my black open. I come in moments ago and the top was open. I'm like, great. So I'm gonna let this sit upside down. Maybe they'll. I don't want to add water to it. I can, but good thing I'm not trying to be perfect because I'm on the wrong track. Okay. I believe it's drippings time. Drippings 30. All right, let's get the three caballeros out here. A lot of this would have been so much easier if I had not started doing it 10 years before I did, but the technology wasn't out there, at least not for me. Because I just paint with my contacts, and I'd be painting in 2020, and I could look at the screen like, oh, there it is. Can't anymore. All right. Where there's latches, there's rust. Where there's hinges, there's rust. And I don't have a preference, so I just kind of play around with these colors. And you'd have a lot of rust in the springs and stuff, but that's going to accumulate a lot of dirt too, so you're not going to really see it. So there's not a whole lot of there's not a whole big point in my opinion of going in there and rusting a bunch of things on the suspension because that's going to get covered up. Just like there's not a whole lot of point in painting bare silver worn on the tracks, because as soon as that starts getting worn on the tracks, that's the part that's going to pick up the dirt. So that's just my take on it, anyways. Your mileage may vary. Glad I finally moved the drinking cup over to the left hand side. It's not in my way. I'm excruciatingly right handed. And having something else over on this side is just even more. More fighting for dominance. The model show I went to this weekend, there was actually somebody that was selling. Hey, what's up, Justin? Good morning. Yeah, trying to get into the rhythm of doing this every morning. It's the rest of your day could go to shit, but at least I did something positive before I left off the house. It's got to get done anyways. So, what's the weather report today? You got some nice temperatures, man, but I wouldn't want to shovel anything. I don't know that. That's one of those things of my ignorance of being somebody who's always from the South. For the longest time, it took until I was in my 40s to actually see snow. And a couple reasons for that. First of all, I don't live in a place where it snows. And if I don't travel during snow time to other places, I'm not going to see it. And even if you travel to places that get snow and the conditions aren't right, it's not snowing. So we have this, my ignorance is that, oh, it's under 32 degrees, it should be snowing. Well, that's like saying it's in the summertime, it should be raining. It doesn't always rain, so it doesn't always snow. So it took me a while to see the snow. Actually, I was never in falling snow until 2 years ago when I went to Canada. But it was very, very little snow. But I don't want to shovel any of that stuff. That's a pain in the ass. 26 degrees. Ooh, a warm day. Yeah, 26 degrees. It gets here 26. Not that unusual. If it's under like 18, that's unusual. And my only complaint on those days is that wherever I'm going, they're going to have the heater like on 82. Like, people love to waste power in Florida on the heater. I don't mind on the AC because, I'm a firm believer of the cult of air conditioning. I said, I'm not going to sit around and do this sweating. I've stopped going to people's houses because they were too damn hot. It isn't worth it. I don't need game that badly. But the heater, that's just evil. Good morning. Man, I missed you last night, Marcus. I know, you had real life stuff to do. Well, I was on here about 45 minutes and nobody was here. And I got tired of looking up and not having any interaction. And I just finally said, well, I still want to get this Panzer II done because I'm on a tear. I'm on a bloody tear. And So I just turned the video off and kept painting. And I'm a lot more efficient if I'm not being filmed. But, being on here keeps me on task. Like, okay, well, I can't quit now. I got people watching. Oh, I can keep going. But, yeah, I was on a tear last night. I spent a lot of time looking through for decals and just didn't have the right ones. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm painting them. I'm going to hand paint them. And there's only one thing I don't like about this Panzer II. This color is coming out so much like I want it to that it's making my other Afrika Korps stuff look. So I may have to tinker with them. But hey, they're not sealed, so they can be tinkered with. Your daughter got home from the gym really late, so I was cooking while you were running the live session. I know. Well, like I was saying earlier, I got to paint every chance I get because, I may decide I don't want to paint, and it's a good night for you. And then I didn't paint that, and then, it's all good. But this tank 143 is going to be in the first company. The first company has the H's, so I figure if they're going to have a more modern Panzer II, it'll be with the H's. The other one will probably be the second company. We'll put this in the second company. And I would have put them with a Panzer IV group, with the fours. But the scenario that I have that isn't really for Operation Crusaders before that, but tough, I'm using these tanks. It has the one of the companies that has the Panzer IIIs and the Panzer IIs and IIIs in the same company. So, yeah, at the rate we're going, I'll be getting more of these. Not anytime soon, but we got a lot. We got enough stuff to paint. You love the heat in Michigan. You mean you love to run the heater? I don't think you do. You probably are saying that you go other places and everybody's running the damn heater like a sissy. You seem like somebody who enjoys the cold, like I do. I enjoy the moisture. When I went to Europe and they had the heater running, I stepped outside and it was all like Florida winter. So it was cool. It wasn't cold unless the wind was really blowing. Then it was cold. Nothing I wasn't dressed for. But you go inside and everybody's running the heater and my sinuses just freaking kill me. I'm like, I gotta step outside and like breathe the fresh air. You're painting some winter Germans and the Stug at the moment. Got to stick with cold weather miniatures while the weather is cold outside. I can't do that because I paint so slow that the weather would change. I'd be like, damn it, I didn't get done with these guys and it's already springtime kind of thing. You like the cold and hot weather, but I don't like AC air conditioners. It makes me stuffed up and I can't breathe. All right, well, send them all down here. We'll take care of them. I don't mind the heat if I'm at the beach, but I can't. I can't stand the heat at work. I can stand the heat if I'm a day off because I can dress whatever I want, right? I can get out of it, but it's just too damn hot at work where you got to wear long pants. Wish I could wear shorts to work. But then if I wore shorts to work, I might have to wear a uniform like those UPS guys. You know, it's like, man, you can wear shorts, cool, yeah, but everything's got to be brown. I'm like, ooh, I don't do brown well. Brown's not a good color on me. I don't personally dislike it. It just looks like shit on me. Literally. I'm not allowed to wear a brown shirt. So your next phase of battle is going to be an armored clash in North Africa. Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's well, I got the tanks for it now. It's a couple Panzer twos, 4 or 6 Panzer threes, and a bunch of A13s, and a half track with a pack. So yes, that's probably the next one I'm going to do, and just see how it plays out. But you know, I'm not exclusively painting that stuff. Like I just I just let the infantry here stop for a little bit. We'll pull the other infantry. I'm gonna take the other infantries that's left over, the desert rat guys that of yours that I haven't worked through. Put them with that. I'm probably gonna paint. I'm probably gonna paint British. I'm on a roll with the British, so I'm gonna have to stop and paint a commander for this because, well, not unfortunately, all of these are command versions. So the other Panzer threes, the other four, all have hatches closed. So it's not like they all have them open. And if I get any more Panzer four, Panzer two Fs or Cs, they'll have the hatches closed. You know, I want the proportion like one with a hatch closed for every four kind of thing. But I tell you what, after last weekend, I'm not really motivated to go to a game convention. I'm motivated to go to a model convention because they had some stuff there they had this stuff there to move. You know, half the fun at those places is you go and you look at them, look and see what they have. By the way, I took a close look at this MMS set of the Afrika Korps tank commanders, and they're trash. I may be able to paint them okay, but they're not very good at all. Oh well, shit happens. That's going to be a ton of chips. It is. But it goes pretty quick if you know what you're doing. I mean, we'll just do a ramming scenario where they come in and they ram everybody. I may make a smaller version of it, like, you know, cut down a couple of the vehicles and still do it just to. I don't know. The vehicles don't take a long time to paint, as long as you stay on them. Oh, by the way, you didn't see this, so I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Ever so gently. This is Chad's material is really durable. I really like it. I mean, it's almost rubbery. It's got some flex in it. This light is just, it's too powerful. I painted my own little crooked spider on there because it was too small. And I'm going to have to redo the one on the armored car because I think I'm going to paint the rest of my palm trees because what happens is I'll pick this palm tree, it's already done, and I try to put the swastika in there and it doesn't quite work. So it's like I need to paint the little swastika. I need to make the little X the right size first, put the little tails on it, and then make the palm tree above and below, and that works better. I don't want to show that on screen for the bots will be after me. But, you know, like this armored car, when I play it, it's probably going to have a Crooked Spider ID flag on it. That's how I'm going to do my numbers. And I'm just going to do straight red. I'm not going to do the white on the outline. Because the white on the outline gets used a lot in Europe. And that's with no cleanup on the numbers. I was on a tear, man. When things are going that well, I don't want to stop. And the thing is, I gotta hand paint these Balkan crosses because I look and I don't have the right. I mean, they don't make them the right size. They're freaking tiny. So yeah, this is going. I ain't going back to ancients and medievals anytime soon. This is going way too well. This is way too motivating. Man, I went to this one hobby store in Spain that was incredible. They had so many books about medieval and Renaissance stuff in Spain that isn't available anywhere else. And they had these figures called, I want to say the Reconquista. They were 3D printed. They were fantabulously gorgeous. But with 28 millimeter, I'm like, I'm not doing that. Because then I have to find a set of rules that has the amount of detail that's worthy of the miniatures. Like you don't want to spend 20 hours painting a figure and then play something that's like, super generic. Like why bother, Thanks, Justin. See, you can do this too. I understand people don't want to spend this amount of time on it, but I don't like seeing somebody else's stuff that I like better than my own. I see stuff that's amazing and I'm like, shit, I could do better. I could do better. And I see stuff that I really, really like and I'm like, I just I get empowered with the, wanting to know more about the history and stuff like that. And I kind of regret not picking up some of those model kits. There's this one guy had this bin of these old 1/72nd scale models, and they weren't a weird brand. I want to say they were Hasegawa. I want to say they were old Hasegawa kits, maybe early '80s or something like that. And he had printed on the box 5 for $10. That's $2 a fucking piece. And if they would have had more Messerschmitt's E's other than one, I probably would have jumped on it because I want some Rex for the airfield. And I don't know what the makeup of that airfield of the Rex would be on there because it's like literally the British tanks showed up on the airfield and start shooting things up. So it's not like planes that are crashed. It's planes that are shot up by other tanks, which I'd probably just model them as crashed because I don't want to model the inside of a plane. So, but that would have just sidetracked me if I need them bad enough. But I figured, okay, it's this whole fear of like, man, what if it doesn't turn out well? Well, you keep tinkering. You keep tinkering your paint until it does turn out well. But they only had one 109E. They're like a fuck wolf. Okay, fuck wolf's useless for me. I need 109Es, G55s, RE2000s. What else? Maybe even an SM79 or something like that. But they had a lot of aircraft. And they had a lot of things. You could tell these people have been sitting on this stuff for a while. So hey, there's always next year. I got enough stuff to keep me busy. If I had bought them, it's not like I'd sit around and paint it right now. But I did get motivated making those two wrecks. So also painting the Balkan Kreuz on the Panzer II too small for your decal set. Yeah, they're too small, man. They're way too small. And your daughter doesn't have a lot of free time. She gets home late, and I mean, she wakes up relatively early. She's in high school, right? Yeah, I just got back from a trip, and I can't wait to go on another one. It went so well. But man, it makes a cruise seem free. You need some more trucks with Dak. I've been eyeing the Pegasus set. Ooh, I don't know. My last Pegasus experience was not good. I do not have any German aircraft. I did as a kid. I don't anymore. I only have two aircraft, which I started and didn't finish. Shit happens. I'll finish them at some point. It's a Spitfire and a P-40. But I'd make them as a wreck. You know, so I don't want to spend $12 and make a wreck, and then maybe the wreck doesn't turn out well. You know, I've been looking to see somebody, some that are trashed. See some trash model or whatever. I can spray the whole damn thing black and then just start dry brushing my way up and just see what I can come. I think it'd do a good enough job for what it's supposed to be. But there is also this first person shooter, and I don't know which one it is, but there's this map for the City Rizet airfield for some first person shooter. I don't know if it's Battlefield One or it's a first person shooter I never played, so I'm not really sure what it is. And I was taking a look at somebody's video on YouTube of them walking around the battlefield just to see of what their impression of that battlefield looks like. But the airfield, as far as I can tell, was just an area that was just flattened of just dirt. I mean, there's no tarmac or anything on it. It's just friggin' dirt. Like we'll make this flat and we'll fly in and out of this place. And Operation Crusader, the British tanks went straight for them. 7th Armored Brigade went straight for them. Broke through whatever defenses they were. Shot up a bunch of planes on the runway. One of them managed to take off. Doesn't say what it was. But then they ended up shooting it down with anti-aircraft fire and destroyed the rest of them on the ground. I don't know how many planes it was. 5, 6. I don't think it was like 20. I think it was a handful, but and there were several of the battles that took place among the plane wrecks. And the tank wrecks there that became after that. There's not a lot of terrain in the desert, or there's not as much terrain in the desert as other places. So there's other things you can add to make sure it doesn't look like just a freaking bed sheet out there. Like have fun on the bed sheet. Oh, ninth grade. Oh, she's got a ways to go. Wakes up for school at 7 a.m. Back in the evening from the gym at 8:45. She had a late gym start yesterday. Didn't get back until 9:45. The It's funny. The homework that my daughter had the most trouble with through all the grades of the amount of homework that was given to her was fifth grade. I know that sounds crazy, but fifth grade it was just like they gave her so much freaking homework. And I'm sorry, I'm of the opinion that high school and younger kids, they should just be in school longer and just do your work at school. You know, it's not like you live in an age where one of the parents doesn't work. Like, it's very rare. Normal people have, both parents are working. And, I know it was a lot of work for my wife to help with with my wife is a teacher by trade, but she's never taught since we've been married because that just doesn't pay the bills here in Florida. And it's a good thing because there's all kinds of weird shit that teachers have to deal with these days. But that's what she's supposedly good at. And they just gave her all kinds of stupid assignments all the time. That whole new math thing at the beginning, like what in the fuck, But fifth grade was the one that was the most difficult. By the time she's in high school, she's like proficient and she can do a lot of this stuff herself. She's, you develop the skills of trying to figure out assignments on your own, kind of thing. You know, new math to me in painting would be like, all right, we're not going to have all these colors. You're going to get red, you're going to get yellow and blue, and you got to make all your other colors from that. I'm like, the fuck's wrong with you? Interesting. I think the fifth and sixth grade were also the toughest homework wise for Tiana. I think it was the jump from elementary school to middle school. Yeah, and for me personally, the hardest stuff for me was middle school. Middle school was harder for me than college. Middle school was just ridiculous. I'd rather go to prison than go to middle school again. I'd rather go to prison with your choice of boyfriend for me than go to than go to middle school. I did not have a good middle school experience. I hated the middle school I went to. Every time I drive by it, which isn't very often, I still hope that somebody burns it down. It's funny. I was in Europe. It was the beginning of our trip, and I heard on the local thing that some kid had brought a gun to school, and I'm like, huh, I wonder if, to a middle school, and they don't tell you, child brings gun to middle school. They don't tell you in the headline what middle school it is, and I'm like, I bet it's Westwood. Yep, it was Westwood. Fuck that place. In the long run, you don't need college to make lots of money. Um, Two things on that. I see these posts all the time. I see these posts all the time on Facebook and things like that. That you don't need a college degree. These jobs pay six figures or whatever. And I would agree with that. But there are no jobs that I would want my daughter to do. Because even if the job is okay, the other people that are doing it with you, I don't want my daughter around. Like, for instance, mechanics can get good money. I don't want my daughter being a mechanic. I work at a place where there are laborer type people, and they don't know how to behave around other people. And I don't want my child involved in that. So you basically can't do any of those jobs. It'd be like, and I've said this before, like, I'll go to like a game convention, right? And it'll be at some shitty ass hotel that I don't want my wife and daughter staying at. Like I can survive a night at a Motel 6. I don't want the girls to go through that. You know. So all of those jobs involve being around people that have substance abuse issues. Not all of them, but many are bad mouthed. You're working in the heat. You're dirty. And I don't want my daughter doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I agree. You can, I don't have a problem. I would love to say it the wrong way here. I was going to say, I would love to have been a mechanic. I would love to be good at working on cars. I think that is a super cool skill. Unfortunately, cars are so damn complicated now that you can't know everything. But I think that would be an awesome skill to bring home with you from the workplace. Like the stuff I do at work, a lot of that is not very useful, like outside of work. But like working on cars or something like that. I know a guy that's he works in AC all the time, and the irony is he's always hot because he gets called in when the air conditioning's not working somewhere. So like I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want my daughter to be a plumber. I wouldn't be So the main thing about making lots of money is have that spark, have that hustle. If you don't have that hustle, you're never going to get anywhere. You know. Understand it's like, man, the best way I can get my day to freaking go by quick is let's kick some ass. And you just have to have that attitude. If you have that attitude, you can pretty much, you're going to make it, But welder, I don't want my daughter to be a welder. There's nothing wrong with a lady being a welder, but I wouldn't want my daughter being a welder, being around other welders and being rude and, you got to do more work because so-and-so didn't show up because, he got paid yesterday. And, I never encountered that until I started seeing these working with laborers. I'm like, oh, he didn't show up today. Why? Because he got paid yesterday. So? Oh, he doesn't need the money. I'm like, well, isn't he going to get fired? Just people like that operate by those sets of rules. Like, I'm not used to that shit. You don't like your job, fucking quit. But don't be like, well, I just won't show up. I mean, do you work here or you not work here? So yes, you can make lots of money without a degree, but they always involve all those items. They always involve, being dirty. Like a lineman. Linemen can make a lot of money. You don't have to go to school. You got to go to, trade school. Honestly, a lot of college is bullshit. There's a lot of stuff that I don't have a very advanced degree because I would have liked to have gotten out of high school. I'm like, okay, screw English math. Let's work on the stuff that's going to be for the job I'm going for. Oh no, it was more high school. And I'm just like, I just got tired of that bullshit. It was too many years of that bullshit. So, I don't have a very advanced degree because I'm not one of those people that just likes writing papers for the sake of writing papers. So, the day I got my high school diploma, I never looked back and went to a high school reunion. Yeah, I don't like high school reunions because your life doesn't start until after high school. When you're forced by the government or whoever to spend 4 years with these people that are chosen to be around you, that's not the people that I choose. College is good because it's like if you don't want to be in school, guess what? You're not there. You're not causing a disruption. So, um, I had a there was a young girl that was working at our office many years ago. She was in high school, and the girl was dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, she was literally super dumb, and she was like cheerleader material. And I guess she was kind of cute if you know. Anyhow, um, she would ask me to go get a soda for her in the work. I was working in the office and she was too, in the break room because she didn't want to go in there because the guys would just say rude things to her. I'm like, you got people that just don't know how to behave around around other people. You know. I know a woman who works with road commission making $25 an hour driving bulldozers. I bet she can kick your ass and mine. You got to have a tough outer skin to be able to do that kind of a job. And I'm not saying that women can't do it. I'm just saying it's kind of a hostile environment. You can make all the rules in the world. You can make all the rules in the world about you got to make equal opportunity. It just you can't, even if you got everything going great in your place, you go somewhere else and you can't change that. You can't go fight the Mongols and expect them to behave. And I'm all for them being able to do that, but I don't want my daughter to go through that shit. I don't want my daughter to go to a public middle school. Like, nope, nope, absolutely not. That's why you work hard so your kids don't have to do shit like that. I'm not saying they shouldn't have any hardships. I'm just saying that let's pick what hardships they have. And by the way, $25 an hour isn't what $25 an hour usually. I look at $25 an hour like, yeah, it's pretty good pay, and I'm like, no, it isn't. Not anymore. Thanks, inflation. You work in a warehouse. You know how some of these people are. Don't show up for work. Why? Well, because you paid them. So what about the next paycheck? They don't care. Like, man, what kind of drugs you got to be on to not give a shit about your job, man? Like, there's always a next paycheck. I don't know. Maybe their parents were the same way. I mean, that's why they take attendance in school, so you get used to showing up for work every day. I mean, that's why I think they do it. Like, I don't stay home from work, man. I gotta go to work, or I create more work for everybody else that's there that I don't have anybody to cover for me, and for myself when I get back. Like, why would I want to do that? You construction type people can't behave. When was the last time that a bunch of guys were on a construction site and some attractive woman walked by and they catcalled her and she went and sat on their lap? I'll take the empty set, you know? But the reason you go to college, I think the reason you go to college, unless you're an attorney or a doctor or something like that, the most of the reason you go to college is so you learn these skills of having to figure shit out when there's nobody to ask. The thought process. It's not what you actually freaking learn. Like for me, I like putting some of these complicated model kits together because it's like a breeze compared to the shit that I have to do at work. Like it's like, sometimes you got to figure shit out. And one thing they don't teach people in college, and they should, is critical path. So many people are so bad at critical path. They got all these tasks and they want to work on the ones that they want to, and you can't. You got to work on the ones that hold everything else up. If you don't do this first, it holds 4 people up. And if you don't do this one next, it holds up 8. And then you get a snowball thing. So many people are terrible at that. Or there should be a class. How to write emails that don't create other emails. These people that sling all these emails around asking 7 questions in it. Like, no, make a phone call. Solve the problem, then send an email about everybody agreed to do. You don't have time for all that other shit. In Michigan, if you don't show up for work, you ain't getting paid. Right. Well, you don't get paid either, but, there's lots of places where they don't fire people because the replacement is just as sorry. Frank doesn't show up for work, he doesn't get paid. Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't get paid, but he also doesn't get gotten rid of either until he does it multiple times. I don't know. I think in over 30 years, I've maybe missed 4 days of work. Maybe it's only 3. One of them was a car accident. Like I couldn't come in. Still called in. Only thing you should be excused from calling in is, like a fatal accident. Well, he didn't call in from his fatal accident. Well, he also will never be in again, so not a problem. But I was also brought up that like you didn't miss any school, period. Like we want to go to Disney World. Well, you got to do it in the summertime. Not me. We'll pull the daughter out. Like we go, we're suffering too. Like we're going when the kids are in school. F that. I'm not going to a theme park in the summer. You're out of your mind. Like Europe, I wouldn't go to Europe in the summertime. F that. All right, go to begin the morning routine for Tiana. Have a good day. All right, why don't you stay home from work today, Marcus? No, literally, the best thing you could do is have a go get attitude. Like, okay, what else can I do? You know, not just be like complacently spending all day long surfing on your phone. You're so funny. Somehow, I think you're going to take my advice on that. I don't know. People can work from home. I can see where it's an issue with them, not being able to ever get away from it. But I'd like to try it just one time. I don't ever think about work when I'm not there. So that's, that keeps me from going to an AA meeting or something. Well, we're about done with this little guy for now, anyways. Um, let's do one other thing. I mean, you could turn around and tinker with it, and turn around and tinker with it again. We're gonna hit this pale sand. This is the lightest of lightest colors. And let's thin this down. Oops, what is this? Too much paint, too much paint. Less paint, less paint. AA is for quitters, that's right. Well, if I was going to be an alcoholic, I'm off to a really bad start because I rarely drink. Although I went to Spain, I drank had a beer. I think I think I had a drink every single meal. But they have these little beers which are perfect because like it's just an appetizer. I'm not there to get drunk. I'm on vacation. I don't need a drink. I guess they're about the size of this. Maybe the glass is a little bit taller, but there's not much. It's like freaking great. You know. Yeah, I don't have the alcoholic gene in me. I don't. Yeah, I was having a drink at every meal. I come back here and I haven't had a drink since. I mean, I believe it's a thing for some people, but it's not in my chromosomes. Not yet, anyways. I mean, I wouldn't mind being able to drink at work, but if I'm not at work, I don't need to drink. I don't think I even on all the flights I took, I only drank on like one of them. So now there are some extra parts that these came with that I haven't attached them, like a spare road wheel or something like that. So there may end up being a spare road wheel here, but I'm not gonna do that until all the tanks are built. This little bastard is cute. And every 3D print I've seen, even some things that aren't 3D printed, have the little lines. Some of the Plastic Soldier Company stuff has the lines. Doesn't bother me. I've seen so much of it that, I'm also looking at it with +6, so probably wouldn't be that noticeable if I was looking at it under normal conditions. But I gotta figure out what's going on in that roof. I believe there's a cushion. That little donut, I believe, is a some kind of a leather cushion, so the little Nazi guy doesn't bang his head on it. You quit alcohol 5 years ago. I don't drink enough to quit. They say, yeah, I lost weight quitting beer. I'm like, I don't drink enough beer to, that make a difference. I can't quit alcohol. I behave better when I drink. All right. Well, that's going to be it for me this morning, unfortunately. I wish I could just be on here another 6 hours, but it doesn't quite work that way. Some of these colors are just so difficult to get right in the photograph. Like you'll look at it, I'm like, that's not what it looks like. That's not what it looks like. Let's see. Let's do an autocorrect. And just like I don't mind spending a lot of time adding these details, what I'm not willing to do is spend a lot of time tinkering with a photo. But anyways, that's where we're going to stop for this morning. So I appreciate you guys coming by, and maybe we'll see you guys tonight. Have a good one.